Welcome everyone. How are you all doing today? My name is Jumi, aka Deborah, as Africans or Nigerians will say it, aka Debbie or Deborah, as Americans will say it, aka Deb, as I'm using for my channel because I think it's pretty cute. Today I'm going to be sharing a story with you all about something I did a couple of years back when I was a teenager. But before I get into the story, I just want to say that I do not recommend for anyone to do this. It's very dangerous. It's not advisable, so please do not do this. But about 13 years ago, when I was 16, I was on my way home from Brooklyn. And just to track back a little bit, I used to live in Long Island as a teenager growing up with my parents, but now I'm currently living in Texas because I relocated after I got married. But so back to my story. When I was on my way home, I'm not sure where I was coming back from, but I know I was in Brooklyn and I was on my way home to Long Island, and I had to take the Long Island Railroad, also known as LIR or LIRR. For those of you that live in New York, you're pretty familiar with that train. Usually, when you're taking that train from Brooklyn to Long Island, you usually have to transfer at a station called Jamaica. It's not the country, guys. It's a city in Queens called Jamaica. So I had to transfer at Jamaica. So I got on the train. I was on my way home, and I was pretty engaged on my phone. I was just texting. I was probably texting or talking. I don't remember. I was probably on the phone with my boyfriend at the time. And when I finally got to my station where I was supposed to connect to my connecting train, I actually didn't even know. I was just engaged in the phone until I finally, realized that I was at the station I was supposed to transfer. So as soon as I got out, I was in a hurry. And usually, for those of you that live in New York, shout out to those that live in Brooklyn, in Flatbush Avenue. Shout out to those that live in Jamaica, which is also known as the Ave. I don't know if it's still called that, but I know back in the days when I used to live in New York, the Jamaica was called the Ave. Shout out to all those that live in Long Island. Shout out to all my New Yorkers. But anyway, so when I finally got to my connecting station at Jamaica, I was in a hurry. And usually, when you're transferring, you have to be careful because there's a gap between the train station. There's a gap between the train and the platform. For those of you that live in New York, I'm sure you're always hearing that. You're pretty familiar with the recording on the train that's always warning people to be careful whenever they're getting out of the train or getting on the train because there's a gap. But I wasn't paying attention. I was in a hurry because I wanted to make sure I didn't miss my connecting train. And as soon as I was rushing out of the train, my phone slipped and dropped on the tracks. And as soon as this happened, I had to think of what I was going to do. Was I going to just get on my connecting train and go home, or was I going to try and get it? So I think the next thing I saw myself doing was running to the connecting train conductor. I was trying to find him, and I kind of realized that he was right there. He wasn't too far, so I ran to him and I told him, "Listen, my phone just dropped on the train tracks, and I really like to get it. Can you please hold the connecting train for me? It's only going to take a few seconds." And I'm sure the conductor didn't say anything, but he just nodded his head. Because I guess he could kind of tell that I was in a hurry and I was waiting for a response as soon as possible. So he just nodded his head, and as soon as he did that, I kind of felt he was nice and he was going to wait. So that's kind of took that as a yes. But I'm pretty sure he was thinking, what is this teenager talking about? What is this girl talking about that she wants to jump on the tracks to get her phone? That's just crazy. But he didn't say anything. He just nodded. And as soon as he nodded, I ran back. And by the time I ran back to the other, so usually when you're transferring from one train to the other train, they're usually on the same platform on the opposite side. So thank God that's much easier and convenient. So I ran back to the other side of the train I just came out from that had already gone, and I jumped on the track and got my phone. And as soon as I got my phone, the second challenge I had was how I was going to get back on the platform, because the platform is pretty high, and even though I'm about 164 inches, which is like 5'4", it was still a struggle for me to get back on the platform. So, and then at the time I realized I was struggling. I kind of looked to make sure there wasn't any train coming, to kind of gauge how long I had to get back on the platform. But luckily for me, there wasn't any train coming close. There was a train coming, but it was still far off. So I had enough time to get back on the train. But I think there was a guy on the platform that probably saw me struggling, so he just ran towards me and grabbed me up. And as soon as he grabbed me up, I didn't even think of anything. I'm not sure. I hope I said thank you to him, because I didn't think of anything but to run back to the connecting train, because I didn't want the connecting train to leave without me being on it. So I ran back to the connecting train, and as soon as I ran, I guess the conductor saw me because the train doors closed. As soon as I ran back, and I just sat down and I just went back on my phone. I must have been engaged in a really interesting conversation for me to think about jumping on the tracks to get my phone and all that crazy stuff. But as soon as I just got on the train, I sat down, acted like nothing ever happened, and I just got back on my phone and I started texting or talking or do whatever it was I was doing. I think I was actually talking. So when I got back on the phone, I had to explain to my boyfriend at the time what happened, because he must have been like, what happened? We were talking and then the phone just got disconnected. So yeah, I was actually on the phone. So I told him that my phone dropped on the tracks and I went to go get it. And he was like, what? You went to go do what? But anyway, and I'm pretty sure everybody on the platform were like, what was she thinking? Why would she do that? I don't know if anybody recorded it. I hope not. But I was young, I was naive, I wasn't thinking, and I just did that. So I just thought I should share that story with you guys. But please, like I said, it is not advisable to do that. They actually have people now that are usually like trained workers that are around, that every time something like that happens or you have an emergency, you can run to them and ask them to help you. I think my phone also dropped in the tracks a second time when I was much older, probably when I was 20 something, I don't remember. But this time I actually went to, because it wasn't the Long Island Railroad this time, it was the local trains. I think it was a train track of the E train or something. So this time I did not want to get on the dirty tracks, actually. Not only that, but I just knew it was much dangerous. So I ran and found somebody. I found one of the train employees that worked at the train station, and I told the person that my phone dropped, can he please help me? And they're more equipped to help you with situations like that, because those tracks are usually electrified, so it's really dangerous to jump on the tracks to do anything. It's not advisable. So the second time my phone dropped, I just ran to find an employee, and the person helped me get my phone, so I didn't have to get it myself. So that's just the story I wanted to share with you guys. I hope you enjoyed the little story time I had. Please, like I said again, do not ever do this. It's very dangerous to jump on the tracks. Please subscribe to my channel. Let me know if you want to hear more story time. Let me know if you have any ideas of stories you'd like to hear. If you have any questions, please comment on below, and let me know what your questions are or comments are. Thank you so much for watching, and have a good day. Bye.